The air hung heavy. It was thick with the scent of fear. March 16, 2024 dawned like any other day in Port of Spain. But the sun set on a city stained with blood, a massacre, a day of unspeakable violence. The heart of Trinidad and Tobago was ripped open. This wasn't just another statistic. This was a wound that ran deep. It struck at the soul of a nation. Mothers wept for their children, children orphaned, their innocence shattered. The cobbled streets, usually alive with the rhythm of life, fell silent. The city was a canvas of chaos. Sirens wailed. Gunfire echoed. The stench of death lingered in the air. Port of Spain, a city known for its vibrancy and warmth, was transformed into a scene of carnage. It was a day that would forever be etched in the memory of its people. Trinidad and Tobago, a paradise island nation, wore a mask. Beneath its beauty, a dark undercurrent surged. The murder rate danced a macabre dance. In 2014, there were 403 murders, the highest in the nation's history. 2015 brought a slight dip, 420 lives lost. 2016, a year of fragile peace, saw the murder rate fall below 400. But the respite was short-lived. The numbers climbed again. 2019, another peak. The cycle of violence continued, each year a grim lottery. Who would be next? The statistics were more than numbers, they were stories. Stories of lives cut short, stories of families shattered, stories of a nation grappling with a monster it couldn't control. It was a slow, burning crisis, a crisis that erupted on March 16, 2024. The news spread like wildfire. It consumed the airwaves, the internet, the streets. Shock, disbelief, anger. The emotions were raw, unfiltered. This wasn't just a Port of Spain tragedy, it was a national wound. The community reeled. Whispers turned into cries for justice. The media, a mirror to society's soul, reflected the pain. Experts weighed in. Theories abounded. Was it gang violence, drug wars, a societal breakdown? The answers remained elusive. The questions were plentiful, the solutions scarce. The tragedy laid bare the vulnerabilities of a nation. It exposed the cracks in the system, the failings of law enforcement, the deep-rooted societal issues that fueled the cycle of violence. Amidst the chaos, individual stories emerged, stories of loss, of resilience, of despair. A mother, her eyes hollow, clutched the photo of her son. A young girl, her childhood stolen, stared blankly into the abyss. A community leader, his voice laced with anger and frustration, demanded answers. Their voices, a chorus of pain, rose above the din. They spoke of lives shattered, dreams extinguished, and a future shrouded in uncertainty. The tragedy wasn't just a statistic. It was a collection of human stories, stories of lives intertwined, then ripped apart. Each story a testament to the human cost of violence, each voice a plea for justice, for peace, for a future free from the grip of fear. The tragedy served as a grim reminder, a reminder of the fragility of life, the ripple effects of violence, and the urgent need for change. Port of Spain, a city known for its vibrancy, was shrouded in grief. The streets, usually teeming with life, were eerily quiet, the air heavy with the weight of sorrow. The city was in mourning. The massacre was a blow, a punch to the gut. It shook the very foundation of the community. Trust was shattered. Fear took root. The city, once a symbol of Caribbean life, was now a symbol of loss. The healing process was slow, agonizing. The scars, both physical and emotional, ran deep. The community came together, candlelight vigils, memorial services, acts of kindness, but the pain lingered. The memory of that day, a ghost that haunted the city. The massacre wasn't an isolated incident, it was a symptom of a larger disease. A disease that had been festering for years, a culture of impunity, a justice system riddled with inefficiencies, a lack of accountability. Crimes often went unpunished. Criminals roamed free. The scales of justice tipped in favor of the perpetrators. This bred a sense of lawlessness, a belief that actions had no consequences. The massacre was a brutal reminder, a reminder that the system was broken. The lack of justice fueled the cycle of violence. It emboldened criminals. It eroded public trust. It created a climate of fear. The massacre was a wake-up call, a call for a radical overhaul of the justice system, a call for accountability. The tragedy in Port of Spain resonated far beyond the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. It was a grim reminder of the global scourge of violence, a reminder that no nation was immune. From the favelas of Rio to the streets of Chicago, the story was the same. The world watched, it offered condolences, it expressed outrage, but the solutions remained elusive. The global community grappled with the same questions: how to break the cycle of violence, how to build a safer world. The tragedy in Port of Spain was a microcosm of a global crisis, a crisis of violence, of inequality, of injustice. It was a call for global solidarity, a call for collective action, a call for a world where peace prevailed. The massacre was a turning point. It couldn't be ignored. It couldn't be swept under the rug. It demanded action, immediate, decisive action. The future of Port of Spain, the future of Trinidad and Tobago hung in the balance. The time for complacency was over. The time for talk was over. The time for action was now. The government, the police, the community, everyone had a role to play. The task was daunting, but the stakes were too high to fail. The massacre was a wake-up call. A call to address the root causes of violence, poverty, inequality, lack of opportunity. A call to invest in education, in job creation, in social programs. A call to build a society where everyone had a chance to thrive. Amidst the despair, glimmers of hope emerged. The community, though wounded, was resilient. They came together, they supported each other, they refused to be defined by the tragedy. They chose to fight back. Grassroots organizations sprung up. They offered counseling, support, and a platform for dialogue. The youth, the future of the nation, rose to the challenge. They organized peace marches, awareness campaigns, and community initiatives. The tragedy, though devastating, ignited a spark of determination, a spark of hope. It brought to light the strength of the human spirit, the ability to overcome adversity, the will to create a better tomorrow. The road ahead was long, it was arduous, it was fraught with challenges, but the journey had begun. The first steps towards healing, towards justice, towards a safer future had been taken. The massacre was a catalyst. The fight for justice was a marathon, not a sprint. It required sustained effort. It required collaboration. It required a commitment to change. It required a belief that a better future was possible. The tragedy in Port of Spain was a stark reminder. A reminder of the fragility of peace, the human cost of violence, and the urgent need for collective action. It was a call to action, a call to build a world where such tragedies were not just condemned but prevented, a call to build a world where justice prevailed.